and welcome to this week's episode. It is episode 46, believe it or not, of the Paddle Talk podcast here on World Sand Drag News. With me, as always, producer Billy Teeters and our West Michigan correspondent, Jon Sword. And we have got an awesome pod coming up for you this week. We've got Texas Mud Drags preview. We have PSDA preview. We have some results from the race at America's Oasis. And we are going to be also talking about preview for Sand Wars up in Winoka, Oklahoma as well. And we are talking about, first off here, talking results from Silverback Offroad Speedway from last weekend, the R3 Fall Fury event. If I can get that all out. Jon Sword was on site the entire weekend. Johnny, welcome to the podcast for one.
Thank you, sir.
And two, let's talk about the R3 Fall Fury. So, first event like that you've been to, probably, I'm imagining. What did you think?
You know, I thought it was a really good time mixing with all the people. The air was the air was full of fun. I mean, everybody was having a good time out there. Groups of people having bonfires, people camping, people racing. I mean, the overall vibe was cool.
For those of you that weren't in the Midwest or aren't in the Midwest, I got to say, last weekend when this event was going on, the weather was about as good as you could ask for a fall race. And like Jon said, cold enough for hoodies and bonfires, but yet warm enough that you weren't uncomfortable being outside, and you really look forward to some racing. So we had couple of quick 16s, an open bracket, and even some short course action, which that's something we don't get every day at a sand or dirt drag race. I mean,
no, that was really cool. They stuck that right in the middle between time trials and competition, and that was really cool. Everybody gathered over to the hill, all the drag races, everybody were out there watching, cheering them on. It was neat.
Very cool. So on the short course, second place guy is Mason Robichaud. And first place, Frankie J. I believe Mr. Frankie J involved with the R3 podcast as well. So nice
that
to
is the fact.
Both those guys. And then we'll move on to our bracket where a couple familiar names show up. Second place, Kyle Wiedmeyer, also known as K-Dub, frequent contributor to our show, and coming up later on in the PSDA preview, and
also known as number two.
Number two, because the bracket winner, Mr. Jon Sword. Johnny, how big was that bracket class?
64 cars.
Oh my word! Did you say 64? Like 6'4"?
64.
Holy
64 cow. Entered in that bracket. So, and not to mention, 64, 32. It was the perfect ladder.
Right. Yeah. No buys.
No buys.
It was sweet.
That's was cool.
Good racing.
It really was. And you think, you got down to the end and it ended up being a car versus a side-by-side. I mean, how much better does it get?
Right. That's pretty impressive. Was that 6 rounds then?
That was 6 rounds, yes.
Yeah. Wow. That's
yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, so then we had a couple of quick 16s as well. In the truck quick 16, Mitch Bosch out of Zeeland, Michigan, the Unforgiven Jeep, takes the win over Jeff Miller, the Endgame Jeep, also out of Zeeland. So those two guys know each other very well. Good to see them making a final together. And the side-by-side quick 16, second place is Trevor Dana. First place is Jason Price from Priceless Performance. Anybody that does some big side-by-side work up this way or even some snowmobile stuff, Jason Price is a name that they know. And the open quick 16, and I tell you what, now here's a pair of guys. I don't even know if you could count the amount of times these two guys have been down the track. Second place went to Roger Gerio, and first place, Mr. 350 this summer, Terry Wise, taking the win there.
And Terry turned it up. He was doing some 330s in there.
Really?
Yeah, he took the body off, wicked it up a little bit, and had a little fun.
That's pretty cool, man. That's great seeing those guys. I will say this. Terry appeared to be having a lot of fun this summer. I know sometimes that goes around, goes with going rounds and stuff, but it
It
was
does.
great to see him out. And I tell you what, really did well this summer. So shout out to that group, and shout out Roger Gerio too, as that car has been around a long time. And Roger's showing he hasn't forgotten how to go rounds as well.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That was cool to see him going rounds. It was neat to see both of them guys facing off again this year.
Right? So, no, sounds like a really good event. How was the spectator turnout, Jon?
The spectator was great. I mean, like I said, it was wall to wall. The parking lot was packed, so you can imagine the amount of people that were there. You mean everywhere you went, it was just crowds and groups of people. The hill was packed with people. The bleachers had people. It was great. It was fun to do.
Fantastic, man. Well, sounds like a good race. Hey, and maybe it'll happen again next year, depending on how things go. But great way to kind of put a bow on the season here in West Michigan and really put a stamp on it. So, any last thoughts there, Johnny?
I'm thinking they should do it again. And yeah, it was a good time. And as far as the season goes, I agree. It was a good year up there. We lucked out on the weather this time of year, and the R3 guys know how to put together an event with Silverback Offroad Speedway. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, it feels like September and October have been really kind to us as far as around the Midwest. We've had some great racing. We've had the Pro Truck race, the Hayfield Shootout. You've had the Outlaw race down at Brookville. Now the R3 event next weekend coming up, the Texas Mud Drags event back at Brookville, the Tri-County race there in Lisbon. I tell you what, we've been very, very fortunate with the weather, but some great, great racing here to wrap up the season. So, all right, so that's going to end our coverage and our recap of the R3 Fall Fury race at Silverback Offroad Speedway. Welcome back to the podcast. It's episode 46 of the Paddle Talk podcast here on WSDN. With me is producer and all-around reporter Billy Teeters tonight. So great to have everybody on board. And we are talking about the UTV Invasion, which happened at America's Oasis in Winoka, Oklahoma. Big UTV race a couple weekends ago. And we've got some results and some highlights. So, Billy, what do we have?
Well, first of all, big shout out to Les Holmes and the crew at America's Oasis for putting on this event. They had a great time, some great racing. It looked like we saw a really cool wheelie video that we'll talk about here in just a second. They ran 3 classes on Saturday, and let's start with the Dooner class here. Second place in the Dooner class was Brandon Restua. We'll say that. Brandon Restua got second place. First place was Brianna Blackburn. And then they had a stock class as well. Second place in the stock class is Brody Fisher. First place was Brian Yeager in the stock turbo class. And then they ran an outlaw class as well, which is where the big wheelie came in. Second place was Havez Abdil, getting second place in the outlaw class. First place was Reed Goring. And yeah, this dude had a gnarly wheelie to get him. I don't know what his ET was on the pass, but the fact that he got the win, we actually have video of it. Check it out. It's right here. Yeah, so that wheelie happened, and that was wild, man. Isaac, what'd you think of that?
Dude wheelies twice, 2 times in that frame, and still manages to backdoor the guy. I mean, that was impressive. Usually, I mean, let's face it, usually the adage goes, right? Front end way up, wind light's probably not coming on, and he got it up there 2 times, up there pretty good, and still drove it out the big end. Hey, hats off, Reed Goring. If you want to come on the pod sometime and we can talk a little bit about that and about your car, invitations out there, buddy. So get a hold of us at WSDN.com and we'll get you on here. But yeah, that was cool. That was really cool.
Absolutely. They had a wheelie contest as well. I can't see who won the wheelie contest, but they had a great time at UTV Invasion. Some fast cars making some great passes. And just remember, this is still a new track trying to get established here. I think they're off to a great start with having UTV Invasion being there, and who knows? Maybe they'll do some bracket racing related things next year. And I don't know. This track looks like it's a blast though. And I'm just looking at this video. They had a bunch of people just watching on the spectator side. There had to be there's at least like 50 people, or there's 50 side by sides, and a bunch of people just parked up against the track. Oh, not right next to it, but safely distanced next to the track, and just enjoying watching the race. So it's a cool environment. Yeah, shout out America's Oasis. Shout out to Les once again. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. It looks like a great setting, and hopefully, we really want to see good things come there. We've seen some car passes and regular ATV passes on the track there, so hopefully that's a sign of good things to come. And great job by everybody down there. Congrats to all of our winners, and it looked like a really good time. Welcome back to episode 46 of the Paddle Talk podcast. And for our first segment today, we are talking with Tyler from Sand Wars. As always, with me, our West Coast correspondent and resident ATV guy, Caleb Mings. Shout out, Ricky Thorpe. If you were here more, you could be the correspondent, but it's now Caleb Mings is the official ATV guy. So sucks to be you, buddy. And of course, producer Billy Teeters on the background. So, hey, let's jump right into it. So, Sand Wars coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday. This being October 10, which there's some tech going on and some registration stuff like that. So Tyler, let's get right into it.
Right on. Yep. Nope. We've got things going on here, which will be Friday and Saturday. Everybody's doing test and tuning, all this week, and just trying to get ready for this thing. I mean, it's gonna be a big money payout. There's people coming from West Coast, East Coast. I mean, a lot of people coming from the northern states, stuff like that. So it's going to be exciting to see all the new bikes and new builds and stuff that people are bringing out.
Fantastic, man. And unlike a lot of other races, this is something I didn't know before we kind of got into the race. You guys run 4 wide, correct? Every class, 4 wide.
Yes, sir. That is correct. Every class. We've got multiple classes, and we'll break them down kind of as we go. But every class is 4 wide, and then we jumped it forward an extra 100 feet, so we're running 400 foot instead of just your 300 foot average for most of these sand drag races.
Yeah, and Tyler, you guys have been doing a really awesome job with that. Loving all of the smack talk back and forth about the no prep versus prep. That was a hoot if you guys are following along in ATV Sand Wars Uncensored. Definitely riling some people up. These bikes, you're all running no bar, and a lot of these are still hill shooter bikes, and they're getting very quick, especially going to that 400 foot length. They're winding these things out. So you guys do prep the surface. That is true. Okay, so for anybody out there that is still stuck on seeing one of those old posts, no, the surface is prepped. And I've been seeing you guys have been doing a lot of evolution as far as like how you guys have been doing the starting and finishing line. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the new stuff you've got for the starting lines and stuff for 2024?
Absolutely, but we'll kick into that prep for a second before I kind of talk more on the lights stuff. But we take care of our races. I mean, you guys come out there and you guys see. I mean, we really take care of the track, make sure it's groomed enough for safety, and we don't mess around. I mean, we do a very good job of what we got. We kind of keep anybody side by sides or duners and stuff kind of off the tracks. We keep it fairly safe, or to the best that we could possibly do. But we've got Dustin Kerr. He was working on our lights this year, and we've got a different pre-staging on each set of lights, because if you have 4 wide, it's very difficult to try to stage each bike individually. and then try to, make them all go down the track at the same time. So we have multiple switches. It's still going to be a manual stage. But as soon as you manually stage, we've got switches on both of our lineup judges that are able to flip, that staging light that shows on both sides which, your 2 is staged on your left and then your 2 staged on your right. So it'll be notified on the lights. So nobody can, just randomly just run down the track and say, oh no, we had green lights. So it's kind of a cut and dry deal. So it'll be slick. It takes all the, the boogers, I guess you could say, out of the, equation. So.
Yeah, to me, it reminded me a lot of like what NHRA has done for their 4-wide racing. So it's going to make it very clear to those people, especially on the outside lanes, like, hey, the left 2 lanes or right 2 lanes, they're all ready. Either I've got some extra time because they're not ready, or okay, I have to hurry up. And that's obviously one big thing you got to worry about with the 4-wide stuff is you don't want to burn people down. A lot of these are big, big CC bikes and stuff. A lot of them not running radiators, they're just running cool down carts and stuff. So you don't want to let people go too long. And, I think that that new timing system for the starting light, that's really going to be a big deal, I think, this year. I think a lot of people are going to like that.
I think it's going to be a game changer. I really think it's going to make things a lot easier. Like you said, the burn down time, stuff like that. It's going to help everything, along with, like, you guys know, when these bikes get hot, you start dealing with clutch creep. Clutch creep's kind of a little bit, of an issue as well with them as well. So, when we jump into this, different staging lights and systems, I think it's going to work out, to the best of everybody.
Absolutely. So as Isaac was saying, 4 wide for all the classes, test and tune, CC checks for the 421 are going on. What do you guys got going on for tomorrow's racing on Friday?
On Friday, we have multiple races. So all of our classes besides our twin limited, our kids, and our unlimited be going on. So we'll have our stock mods, 421, single cylinder, stock mods, it'll be
Arm.
stock mods, stock arm, 421, Doughboy, and I think that's what we got. And then we'll be moving on to Saturday's race, which will be doing the twin limited, kids races, and then unlimited.
Gotcha. And just so everybody is aware, I believe you guys are still saying single cylinder, they're allowed to run in both the unlimited and the twin limited classes. Is that correct?
They cannot no longer run in the twin limited. We went ahead and
no longer the twin limited.
Yeah, we all made the executive decision that Raptors are just too fast for the twins anymore.
I know that was a big storyline last year for sure. Raptors sweeping the field there. They can still run in the unlimited class, but hey, you've got some triples and stuff in there, and much bigger twins as well that are also going to be running in that class. So
got a couple hybrids and stuff coming this year that is going to be that I've heard that are really, really fast out there on the West Coast. So with all the new bikes, and these triples are coming out of the woodworks. There'll be, I bet you we add another 5 to 10 triples this year from what we had last year. So the triples is big. These Raptors are, over the 1,000 cc marks, most of them. And every single one of them are dragon breathing turbo nitrous monsters, anymore. So, they're the biggest, baddest track bikes that you can put on the dunes, with, shock setups. That's about what they are. So everything that you guys are seeing at the track and these bikes that are running just these ginormous numbers, and fast passes and record breaking passes, they're taking these same motors. We're throwing them in heel shooter chassis and tie bikes and carbon fiber this. And it's just, they're running down the track. So it's really impressive.
Oh, for sure. And it's, speaking of that kind of that crossover between some of the track and the dune race stuff, especially the last couple of years, we've been seeing a lot more of these no bar bikes running on the track, getting a lot of data, figuring out how to get these things to move quicker. The numbers just in our own record system have just completely been blown out of the water in, just the past couple of years. So all that stuff's been translated over into the dunes as well. What things have you been seeing that are probably some of the biggest setup things that you're now seeing in 2024?
A lot of shock movement. We've got people that are moving these shocks back, so it's turning the bikes more into a rigid. acting bikes. I mean, that's one of the biggest thing that I've seen here lately. There's a lot more AR use and Hoosier use out on the dunes, which that was unheard of, for the longest time. With that prep track, I mean, it's pretty easy, to run an AR Hoosier, stuff like that. So that's a big thing. And then just power. I mean, you didn't see, but maybe one or two triples before out there on the dunes, that was just unheard of. Now it's a normal sighting to see 20, 25 triples out there, that are anywhere from, 800 to 1300 cc's out there, just killing it. I mean, it's really impressive. And I mean, their swingers, I mean, you've got these guys that are, the swing arms are just longer than, heck and stuff like that. These bikes that they're setting up, just like, I think it was, I'm trying to think. So K&T, they broke those records down there. What was it, in Dome Valley?
Yeah.
I think in Dome Valley here this last year. And if you look at the way their setups are, there's a lot of the bikes that are showing up that are set up, exactly like that. So those are the type of caliber bikes that we're racing out there. And I think, honestly, in the track racing world, I think the no bar guys, it's going to be, moving forward, in the future for track racing. I think everybody's going to see a lot more of these, no bar guys coming and racing and competing for, record holding, passes.
For sure. Yeah. And just want to go back a little bit. We're talking a lot about some of these unlimited bikes. But Friday night, this is probably something Isaac's going to really keep an eye on, because Isaac likes some pretty stuff. You guys are doing a show and shine after Friday racing is done, sponsored by Wicked Creations. Tyler, tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So our show and shine will be Saturday this year.
Oh, Saturday.
Yeah,
Sorry.
You're all right. You're all right. I just had to get you corrected there. But yeah, so Wicked Creations, that would be Justin and Jeff Roy. They actually started this show and shine to kind of take the edge off everybody. After the races, you can go in there and you see these bikes show up, and I mean, there's just, the amount of money and the amount of just dedication these people put into these bikes. I mean, it's amazing, the time and just persistence that they got, on just taking these bikes to the next level. So the show and shine put on by Wicked Creations, it's just something to see. I mean, we'll have live videos and stuff out there for everybody to see, and I'll try to get you guys tagged up in it as well. So maybe you guys can, shoot some back and forth. I hate that you guys aren't going to make it this year, but we'll dang sure make it known. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, we are definitely bummed that we're not going to have a rep out there. October is just one of those months where things get really busy in the racing world, and with family stuff too, and everything combined, it's pretty tough. But Isaac, as far as like all the show and shine stuff, what's your favorite thing that you see? Is it the paint? Is it the wraps? What is it?
I'm not much of a wrap guy because, well, I'm just not. I'm dedicated paint. I appreciate really good, fine, really clean looking paint, a lot of stuff. So, yeah, that would be something I would looking forward to. I have a question, and I'm not a bike guy. Well, not really a bike guy, but we'll get into that at some other time. It says 100% payout. What can people expect to pay to enter these classes?
They're all $100 entry on that, and then it is 100% from our sponsors, and then obviously from your paid in entries go right back to the racers, and we just split them. What we do is we just split the amount paid out by the amount of bikes that are there, so everybody's getting paid out, an equal amount on what they race.
Nice. That's awesome, man. It sounds like a really unique event. I mean, with the 4 wide, with the bike show and everything else, that's not a lot of what we see. And being this close to Gilbert happening pretty much the next weekend, I've got to believe there's a lot of guys that are going to be there and then continue on to Louisiana. So I think it's going to be, what would you expect from prior years? What would you expect for a turnout like?
The amount of bikes.
Yes, sir.
We'll have 250 bikes. I mean,
wow.
Yeah. So there'll be quite a bit, and each one of them are a high caliber bike.
That's awesome, man.
So,
250 bikes. That is no slouch.
Yeah. No, it'll be a slick 250 bikes, but like you said, the Gilbert deal, most of these guys that are coming from the West Coast, they're doing exactly what you're saying. You know, they're coming from the West Coast, going to race the Sand Wars, basically kind of like a test and tune, and then they're going to go ahead and head on down to, you know, Gilbert after that. You know, try to run no bar bikes. I think some guys even got their track bikes loaded on in their trailer. You know, so as soon as they get off their no bar bike, they get on their bar bike and then go try to, you know, compete in these CC classes and stuff like that. So
Nice. That's awesome, man. No, it sounds like it's going to be a great event. Looking forward to seeing some footage from it. Caleb Mings, what else do you have?
Yeah, just like Tyler was saying, this is definitely one of the biggest ATV events out there. I think we forgot to say where it's at. It's going to be in the Little Sahara Sand Dunes in Winoka, Oklahoma. As Tyler said, they go out there, they set up this 4-wide drag strip pretty close to the entrance to the dunes there, so you can't miss it. Front and center, they do the show and shine out in the parking lot. So if you're not participating in the races, if you're just going out there for a weekend in the dunes, you can go and watch them for the track stuff, get over there to the show and shine as well at night. And as we've been talking, this is probably the richest payout as far as any payouts for the ATV world goes. Thousands of dollars in prize money. You know, obviously a lot of that's contingent on bike count, but as Tyler said, we're talking huge classes for each one of these entries, and you know, potential for a lot of these bikes to enter in multiple classes as well. And we've seen years past quite a few, you know, teams take home some big checks from ATV
yeah,
Sand Wars.
absolutely. So since we fired this thing back up in 2019, and since 2019 to present, this is before this race, we paid out $108,000, you know, give or take a couple $100.
Wow.
So that is, I mean, it pays some money, you know. So, and I'm excited, you know, obviously with the way the economy is and stuff this year, you know, obviously, you know, money's tight for a lot of people. So, I mean, it might be a little bit lesser payout, but for the most part, it's still going to be, you know, up in the, you know, thousands upon thousands of dollars that we're giving out. So, I'm just excited to just kind of keep adding to that, you know, that $100,000 mark and try to get it moved up to, you know, let's get this thing to 200,000 in the next couple of years. So I'd love to see it.
That's awesome, man. And hey, you know, I mean, it says double elimination and stuff like that. So a guy could come and make a ton of passes in a weekend running like that, get some really good data and stuff. So really, I mean, if you're located in the Midwest, kind of towards that area, no reason you shouldn't be there this weekend.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the place to be. I mean, this weekend's the place to be at Little Sahara, and then next weekend, I think most of us are going to try and get on down there to Gilbert and see what, you know, all these numbers these bikes are going to put down. So it'll be a super fun week, you know, a super fun weekend.
Awesome, man. Hey, great. This is like the big time frame of in the bike world. So looking forward to it. Like I said, I know we're all looking forward to any kind of results and some footage coming in from there. So anything to add, Taylor or there, Caleb, before we get things wrapped up with Tyler here?
No, just like you said, Isaac, if you're located there in the Midwest, close to the Little Sahara Sand Dunes, even if you're not going to be racing, go out there, check this thing out, because I mean, these are, you know, you think you got a fast Banshee, you don't know fast Banshees until you've been to ATV Sand Wars.
That's the truth. That seems to be that. So, all right, Tyler, we'll give you the last word here. Anything you'd like to add before we move on to our next segment?
Just if you guys can make it, and thanks for having me on there, guys. I appreciate you guys as always, and hope to see you guys soon.
All right, man. Well, hey, again, thank you for coming on, and we appreciate it. So ATV Sand Wars Little Sahara this weekend, October 11 and 12, all kinds of great racing and a bike show coming your way.
Hey folks, this episode of Paddle Talk is brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. Racing in the Dirt has parts, equipment, and apparel for all your off-road competition needs. Racing in the Dirt has just one mission, and that's to help all of their customers compete at their very best. With over 30 years of motorsports competition experience, they know what it takes to maintain that competitive edge, and they are equipped to keep you there. On-site welding and fabrication, incredible selection of parts, and experience and helpful staff as well. If you go to their website, RacingInTheDirt.com, you can shop for parts and custom-built chassis as well. They sell quality brands such as Interco, Molinari, Reel, SCS gearboxes, Yukon gear and axle, RJS Racing Equipment, Moser Engineering, Simpson, Stroud, Willwood, MSD Ignition, AFCO, FTI, Good Vibrations Motorsports, and King Off-Road Racing Shocks. You can look at their axles and parts, where Racing in the Dirt offers all of the Go Fast parts for any axle setup. Have you checked out their new Dana 30 Fab housing? Racing in the Dirt Pro D30 housing starting at $590. They're Racing in the Dirt tires, the DOT boggers, standard cut boggers, magnum cut boggers, platinum cut boggers, DOT TSL swampers, the cut swampers, and they even cut your tires on site. Once again, over 30 years of experience doing this stuff, so you know you're getting good quality stuff from Racing in the Dirt. Also, Real Wheel Dealers. They have a bunch of awesome real wheels from Real Racing Wheels. And they're Racing in the Dirt built chassis, whether you're looking for a full build, turnkey, ready to race, or simply a cage in your existing ride, or maybe a chassis that will be in the foundation of your newest race vehicle. Racing in the Dirt offers it all. You can also contact them about a consultation today. You can search for their products on their website. They have wheel adapters, hub kits, brake hat kits, brake and hub components, suspension parts, air filters, Racing in the Dirt knuckles, axles and parts, Racing in the Dirt chain drives and parts, limiter straps, parachute setups, side-by-side and UTV parts. So you can get in touch with them at 920-693-2000. Once again, that's 920-693-2000. And you can even email them at Scott, that's SCOTT, Scott at racinginthedirt.com. Once again, you can get a hold of them by calling them at 920-693-2000. 920-693-2000. You can also email them at Scott, SCOTT, at racinginthedirt.com. And then they are also open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And don't forget to check out their website, racinginthedirt.com. That is racinginthedirt.com. And don't forget the UPS Daily.
We're talking about the Tri-County race coming up this weekend at the track in Lisbon, Ohio. Jon Sword, Dave Applegate, both going to be on site for the weekend. Welcome, gentlemen. How are we doing tonight?
Wonderful.
Doing well on this side down here in South by God, Carolina.
Good to see you guys. All right, so let's start out. We're racing, index racing Friday night. Jon, what time you pulling out on Thursday to get down to Lisbon?
I'm heading out just after work after 3 o'clock. I should be able to get on the road and head on out. I'm going to meet Jim Brembaugh and Dave DeLoof on the road.
Oh,
We're
excellent.
all going to travel together, yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, no Dave Weaver this weekend?
That I don't know. I'm not sure.
All right.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. Dave shows up at some interesting places. And Dave Applegate, you'll already be on the road at that point in time. When are you leaving now?
I'm going to leave tomorrow night. Wednesday night, I'm going to head up. I got to make a stop in Grayson, Kentucky. Once I get done there, then I head, and that's about 8 hours. Then I go from Grayson to my mom and dad's, which is another 3 hours. I spend a day with mom and dad on Thursday. Then I pick up our buddy Lucky Charms, Stephen Hacker, about 40 minutes away. I'll grab him on Friday morning, and we should be at Lisbon, hopefully noon, 1 o'clock.
Awesome. Good deal.
Yep.
And so you guys be on site, plenty of time to catch all the action on Friday and Saturday. So Friday night, we're index racing from what I saw on the flyer. So both of you guys racing, not only broadcasting, but also racing on Friday night, I'm assuming?
Correct. So
Yes.
we're gonna do the juggling act and see what we can get done.
Excellent. All right, glad to hear it. And then Saturday, the big money bracket race, 100 car count minimum. They're going to pay $5,000 to win, if I remember correctly, is how things are breaking down. Should be a heck of a show.
Yeah, it's looking really good.
Yes, it is. The not only the index thing, like Jon was saying, I'm not sure where my car will end up being, either the 4.0 I'm not quite sure I got enough to run with the 360 index. So more than likely, Jon will run the 360 and I'll run the 4.0. If we do that, that'll work out real well because we can work together and try and catch as much as possible. And we also have the Team Hunter benefit Friday night as well.
That's right, we do.
Which the recipient of that, from what I understand, will be on site. I don't know, but from what I understand, he will be on site, or she. I don't even really know yet. So we're excited about that, and very nice that Tri-County is taking $5 from every single race entry on Friday night and putting towards the benefit, which is really nice.
Awesome.
And that was something that wasn't expected. So yeah, excited for that. And then the bracket race is going to be great. I'm going to try my best to stay away from some guy named John Soog or Sieg or Sorg or something like that. I don't know what his name is. I heard he's pretty good. Yeah, so it's going to be great. Can't wait.
That's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to some really good content from you guys this weekend. So should be really, really good. And I tell you what, they should have a pretty good turnout, I got a feeling. I mean, really, if you're not going to run at the Franklin County race, with the Texas Mud Drags, that's the place to be this weekend, is right there.
Exactly. 100% exactly.
So good payout, and tell you what, should be a really, really good race. So the Tri-County Four-Wheelers big money race. So anything else you guys are looking forward to when it comes to this weekend?
Well, other than the fact that me and Jon have already talked, excuse me, neither one of us has been at this racetrack. So it's another new track for me this year. I'm not sure how many new tracks Jon's been to this year, but for me, it's another new track that I haven't been to. So I'm excited about that as well. Yeah, so that's the other thing that I'm definitely looking forward to.
Sweet.
Same here. Weather's looking good, and I'm just looking forward to meet all the new people, from a different area, race some different guys, meet some new people, get some new faces with the cars that we've seen. And yeah, a lot of people have reached out and really excited we're coming over. So yeah, a lot to look forward to.
Awesome, man. I love it. Should be awesome. And yeah, shaping up to be a really good weekend. I think weather's going to hold well for it. So should be some prime racing weather for this time of the year in the Midwest. So that being said, if you're anywhere in the Midwest and you're not going to Brookville, you should be making your way to Lisbon. Tri-County Four-Wheelers Big Money Bracket Race, Lisbon, Ohio, this Friday and Saturday, October 11 and 12. Welcome back to the podcast. It's episode 46 of the Paddle Talk podcast, and we are talking about the Texas Mud Drags Lone Star Shootout 4. It is the 4-state gauntlet, and this is race number 4 in their series coming up this weekend, October 12th, at the Brookville, Indiana track, also known as the Franklin County Four-Wheelers track. Looks like it's going to be huge attendance. We have Jason Hoskins, Tim Soldat from Texas Mud Drags on, along with Mr. Billy Teeters on as our producer and moderator. So, guys, you got a huge race it's looking like coming up this weekend. The weather's looking like it's going to cooperate. Let's talk. What are we looking forward to already at this point? Jason Hoskins, you said your phone hasn't stopped ringing since, well, who knows when, about this race. What are you thinking? It's going to be big?
I think it's going to be one of the biggest of the year, if not the biggest. I have yet for my phone to quit ringing all day long. I just come from Anthony's place, and we had 4 different phone calls while I was up there working on a truck. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. We got a lot of people that says they're coming from about, I think I figured it up, there were 16 or 17 different states coming.
Wow. Oh, my word. That is awesome. Tim Soldat, were you thinking it was going to be this big when Jason approached you about coming to Brookville, or were you like, well, hey, we'll probably do all right?
The finals are always epic. This one's going to be really, really epic. So yes, we were hoping for that. I know that we got at least 11 call outs. There may be more than that. So I'm sure I'm missing a few here and there, but there's 11 people called each other out already and confirmed in. So it's going to ramp up here in the next couple of days.
Absolutely. So speaking of call outs, now you and I talked a little bit off the air, the door slammer class, which is my personal kind of favorite and everything else. 19 trucks confirmed already, correct?
That is correct.
That is unbelievable. 19 trucks in the door slammer class already. Damian Bowers has joined us as usual, our mud racing historian, also local expert and that sort of thing. Mini Mooch, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Not too much. Figured I'd just pop in and see what's going on around here, see how ready everybody is.
Well, Hoskins says that he's not even started working on his truck yet, so he figured he'd give the rest of the field at least a 24-hour head start. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Well, he needs at least 2 days to change spark plugs in that church bus motor.
Oh, I love it. All right, so
time. I just don't have time to work right now.
Understandable.
All right, and just so we're clear, also, there is no way that Jason is driving and recording in case this were to be some sort of law enforcement sting or anything else. That's not happening. It looks like it's happening, but it's actually a green screen made to look that way. So we'll just go on that basis.
Yeah.
It's like a plan to me.
All right. So Damian Bowers, you're going to be on site. What are you looking forward to? You're bringing the leftovers Jeep. You're also bringing a bunch of your friends. Let's talk about it. What are you looking forward to this weekend?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's not normal for us to get to run heads-up classes outside of gravel rama around here a lot of the times, especially with a tilt-up track. Usually the only place you see heads-up around here is KOI, and that's hard on tires.
Speaking from experience, it's hard on a lot of stuff, but we'll save that for another night.
But I'm definitely looking forward to running in the small block power adder class. I may be outgunned by a few vehicles just on they're able to reach the minimum weight and I can't.
Sure. Now, are you running the bracket race as well or no?
Probably not, just so I can focus on if I need to make any changes between rounds.
Good call. Okay, so let's talk about that in a second. The bracket race, for any of you that are going, registration is going to open at 9, bracket time trials at 10, and the bracket race is going to start at 2. And Tim and I were talking off air. They want that wrapped up by the time the Texas Mud Drag classes get started somewhere around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So things are going to move pretty quickly.
They're definitely looking to at least get the first several rounds out of the way. It all depends how many cars show up for that, because you never know around here. We could have 30, we could have 60 show up, but I know several that are making the trek out to Lisbon. No heads up class for them here, so they're wanting to go race for a little bit more money on the bracket side of things.
Understandable. So, all right. So Tim and Jason, feel free to chime in here too. Tim, let's talk about this. So Texas Mud Drags Tech on the flyer says 1 p.m. to 4:30. Now, if you're late, which that means what, 4:31?
4:31's late.
4:31 is late. It's going to cost you.
The way I figure is if we're going to have to waste time taking a truck when we could be getting ready to have the race get started and get on time, it's going to cost you an extra $50.
And that's going straight into the pot, right, guys?
Yes.
All right, man. What I mean, seriously though, like Jason said, if we're going to wait for you, you're going to add to the pot a little more than everybody else.
Yes.
All right. And if a guy wants to make a practice hit, $25, same thing, straight to the pot, correct?
Yes, sir.
Plus an extra $5.
The practice hits. The practice hits will be, they will end up being from the 10 to 1 o'clock. If they want to make hits, they need to be there early, because once they start the bracket, we can't make test hits. And once we start to get ready for the mud drags, there's going to be no testing. So anybody that wants to do it, they have to be there early.
Sure. $25 a pass plus an extra $5 to the guy running the staging lanes to keep him sane for the day. I think that's well worth it. So,
Yep.
all right. So I like it, man. It's going to be awesome. Tim, any guesses? What are you thinking for car count on the Texas Mud Drag side?
If I had to put a big guess out there, I'm going to say we're going to have between 50 and 75 just on our side. I know there's going to be more than 50 now. How close to 75 we get, I don't know yet. But it's going to be pretty good setup there for 4 classes. That's a lot of trucks.
Yeah, it is. You ain't kidding on that, man. That's awesome. So can't wait. All right. So Jason Hoskins, besides the class you're running, what's your favorite class to watch in the Texas Mud Drags classes?
I'm actually really looking forward to watching the door slammer class run. That them guys are going to be getting with it. There isn't a truck in the class that doesn't make impressive times.
Very much so. I had heard earlier this weekend that there might be some guys up north that are coming that specifically are bringing some spare Pro Chargers with the idea that if they got to use up some parts to go some rounds, they're going to do it. That's out of my league, but I ain't going to lie. That's awesome to hear because you talk about coming loaded for bear. That's about as good as it gets.
The smoking gun versus Jason Vanderwall's hysteria truck. I would not want to be a betting man on that one because it's going to come down to who leaves first. Them are 2 of the baddest rides in the country that are going to be squaring off.
You know, we talked about that, and Jason and the guys there, Joel Holtoff, Ross Gruen, that crew there, they've got a little bit of data now from this Brookville track. Damian Bowers, that could factor into things there.
Oh, definitely. Not just Vanderwall, but Jason Benson with the Kryptonite Jeep. He just reset the ET or the mile per hour record for A Sport Modified and A Sport Modified 4-wheel drive with the 300-foot track, as well as he broke the ET record that's held by Wine Time, which is also coming down here. Unfortunately, not backing that up at the Outlaw Series race, going a 308 at 300 feet with a short wheelbase little Jeep with a ton of power.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. It's going to be awesome. I think you guys are really in for a treat being there. Being on site is going to be really, really awesome. So, Tim, any advice for anybody that's kind of on the fence or that is coming, something they should know that maybe they don't know at this point in time, as far as, you know, getting there, getting in the gate, where to be, that sort of thing?
Okay, so most of that I'm going to leave up to Jason. He's been to the track before. I've never been to this track. Jason, you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, anybody that's coming in, the gates will be open at 8 o'clock Friday morning. I will be on site probably around 9 or 10 o'clock. I plan on being up there and spending the whole day and just to greet people as they come in, because I've been told there's going to be somewhere between 30 to 45 trucks that are going to be rolling in on Friday. So I want to be there to make sure everybody gets squared away to where we're not going to be taking up too much parking and try to get everybody in there. The gate fee is $15. I mean, I think they're going to have a person up top. It's going to be $5 up top for you to sit in the grandstands to watch. If you want to be in the pits, it'll be a $15 gate fee. I'm not sure what else you're wanting to know. Give me an idea of what you're after.
No, that's good. That's exactly what we're looking for. I believe both of you guys are able to be contacted then by people once they get there. So if they got questions or something like that, you guys are the 2 guys feet on the ground, you know, kind of taking care of things. I got to be honest, man. $5 to sit in the bleachers seems extremely, extremely reasonable for the quality of show that you're going to get on Saturday, right? I mean, let's face it. You're gonna be hard pressed for $5 to see this kind of a race anywhere, in my mind. So hats off to you guys for keeping it really reasonable for people, making it easier for them to get there and, you know, bring a bunch of their friends. So really looking forward to it.
That's what we're the whole goal is to pack the house. We want to hit several thousand spectators. I found out today there's people coming as far as Wisconsin that are coming to camp just to watch the race. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I've had people calling me wanting to know if they can set up tents on the fairgrounds so they can be there to watch the race, and they don't even run rides. I mean, it's going to be a lot bigger than I expected it to be, and this may be an epic race that may go down in the history books as one of the best.
I tell you what, if this race goes off as big as we all think it's going to, you kind of couple that up with the Outlaw race from a month or so ago here, and I tell you what, this Brookville thing is going to go down as probably the two biggest races, or done close to it, that the Midwest has had all summer. Is what it's going to boil down to. I feel
the same way.
All right. Well, hey, Tim, Jason, closing thoughts on anything you want to get out there last minute for anybody before we get this wrapped up?
I would like to get out some thanks for some sponsors. I kicked around some bushes and I had several people kick in money. Nutramax Performance Nutrition, Jay Lick. He's been a supporter for Texas Mud Drags for a couple years now. He always kicks in for us. We got Graph Concrete. They kicked in some money. JZ Excavating, they've kicked in some money. Eckert Racing with Renegade Off-Road and Driveline Repair. They've been very helpful for this series this year. They've actually reached out and helped me when I needed help for a drive shaft. They build really good quality parts. Hoskins Trucking has kicked in some money. Albertson Excavating. Snafu Racing Team, Roy Boys Racing, and the Perfect Edge Lawn Care out of West Virginia. These guys have all contacted either me or Tim, and they've all put in money, and we couldn't do it without them. That has been what has kept this series going, and we can't thank them enough.
Absolutely, man. And hey, to all you folks out there watching this, if you recognize names that Jason just talked about, please patronize those sponsors and let them know you appreciate them sponsoring this race. That's how people get involved. That's how people continue to sponsor. And that's how, no matter what the series is, continue to have great content and great racing all throughout the Midwest. So hats off to you guys. Great job. Tim, any last words for us?
Well, the only other thing I'm going to put on there is those $5,800 of added money. It's 100% payback. Everybody's going to get to watch these guys go. They're going to go as hard as they can tonight because the championships are on the line. So it's going to be interesting to see who ends up with the trophy at the end.
That's right. And that first race of 2025 is a long ways down the road. You got plenty of time to put stuff back together.
Ain't no time to be worried about the future.
That's right.
Mine's
All
set
right,
on kill. It will be set on kill.
Oh man, I love it. All right, Damian Bowers, we'll give you the last word. What you think there, buddy?
Definitely looking forward to seeing some very good heads-up racing. The big block class, anybody's game, really. I know Jason thinks it's all his, but anybody could sneak up and get one there. The door slammer class, again, there's so many big, high horsepower, different combinations. We're seeing more and more come out of the woodwork. The four-wheel mod class, you're seeing a lot of the outlaw a lot of the pro stocks from the MRA and such starting to work their way into that field. Small block power rider, we ain't got a ton in the field. I know that there's a few more that are looking at probably entering that aren't on the confirmed list. And then also you got the big open bracket, which I think that'll be a neat thing for a lot of the MRA guys and a lot of the mud racing guys to see the way we do our bracket racing around here. We've had a lot of races in the last year that are less than 1,000th margin of victory. Changing it to 200 foot, who knows where these people are going to be lifting at.
No, absolutely. I think it's going to turn out really well, and I think it's going to be a big race. So, hey, gentlemen, thanks for coming on. And again, October 12th, if you're anywhere close to Brookville, Indiana, you owe it to yourself. Be there. Find a way to get there. It's going to be a great race, and I guarantee you're not going to be disappointed. And if you are, Jason Hoskins will personally give you your money back.
Thanks for throwing me under the bus.
You're the one with the church motor, so there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the church bus engine tuned in.
All right, so that's going to wrap up our Texas Mud Drags preview of the Brookville, Indiana race at the Franklin County Four Wheelers track.
Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk is brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. Racing in the Dirt has parts, equipment, and apparel for all your off-road competition needs. Racing in the Dirt has just one mission, and that's to help all of their customers compete at their very best. With over 30 years of motorsports competition experience, they know what it takes to maintain that competitive edge, and they are equipped to keep you there. On-site welding and fabrication, incredible selection of parts, and experience and helpful staff as well. If you go to their website, racinginthedirt.com, you can shop for parts and custom-built chassis as well. They sell quality brands such as Interco, Molinari, Reel, SCS gearboxes, Yukon gear and axle, RJS racing equipment, Moser Engineering, Simpson, Stroud, Willwood, MSD Ignition, AFCO, FTI, Good Vibrations Motorsports, and King Off-Road Racing Shocks. You can look at their axles and parts, where Racing in the Dirt offers all of the Go Fast parts for any axle setup. Have you checked out their new Dana 30 Fab housing? Racing in the Dirt Pro D30 housing starting at $590. They're Racing in the Dirt tires, the DOT boggers, standard cut boggers, Magnum cut boggers, platinum cut boggers, DOT TSL swampers, the cut swampers, and they even cut your tires on site. Once again, over 30 years of experience doing this stuff, so you know you're getting good quality stuff from Racing in the Dirt. Also, Real Wheel dealers. They have a bunch of awesome real wheels from Real Racing Wheels. And they're Racing in the Dirt built chassis, whether you're looking for a full build, turnkey, ready to race, or simply a cage in your existing ride, or maybe a chassis that will be in the foundation of your newest race vehicle. Racing in the Dirt offers it all. You can also contact them about a consultation today. You can search for their products on their website. They have wheel adapters, hub kits, brake hat kits, brake and hub components, suspension parts, air filters, Racing in the Dirt knuckles, axles and parts, Racing in the Dirt chain drives and parts, limiter straps, parachute setups, side-by-side and UTV parts. So you can get in touch with them at 920-693-2000. Once again, that's 920-693-2000. And you can even email them at Scott, that's SCOTT, Scott, at racinginthedirt.com. Once again, you can get a hold of them by calling them at 920-693-2000. 920-693-2000. You can also email them at Scott, SCOTT, at racinginthedirt.com. And then they are also open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And don't forget to check out their website, racinginthedirt.com. That is racinginthedirt.com. And don't forget the UPS Daily.
Welcome back to our next segment in episode 46 of the Paddle Talk podcast. And we are talking about the Atoka Fall Fest Nationals down at the Atoka Motorsports Park in Oklahoma. We've got Derek Howard on board to bring us up to date on everything that we're looking forward to. Billy Teeters in the background, ready to jump in at a moment's notice should I stumble or proverbially fall off my stool here. So let's get right into it, though. October 11 and 12, Atoka Motorsports Park, Atoka Fall Fest Nationals. Derek, what are we talking about here? Is this the end of the season for you guys?
It is the last points race. We have 2 left. November's not a points race, but this is our last points race.
Okay. All right. So what are we looking forward to? What's happening on Friday? Let's just start off right there. Day one.
Day one on Friday, we start at noon with a test and tune for all classes, $20 entry fee. Noon till 5. We're closing the station lanes at 4:30, so be in the lanes about 4:30, 5 o'clock. We're shutting it off so we can get ready for the heads-up classes, top alcohol, top eliminator, unlimited ATV, their first qualifying shot. And then after that, we'll start a big money bracket race for cars and quads. The cars, you have to dial 470 and quicker, Pro Tree. Quads 5 flat to 5 flat and quicker for their class. $100 entry fee for both classes. We are doing first round buybacks only, $50 buybacks. And after we get through, I believe, second round, we'll do Q2 for the top eliminator, top alcohol, and unlimited ATV, then finish the bracket classes. That's
Okay.
Friday.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds like could be some pretty big fields. So 2 hits at the heads up classes on Friday, 2 qualifiers. So all right. So we'll move on. Saturday morning. What can we expect there?
Saturday morning, hopefully start off between 9:30, 10 o'clock with our Pee-wees, do their time trials and eliminations, crown their championship, and then move on to the regular classes, probably around noon, hopefully start time trials. We will do our kind of like a normal race, trophy, 2 time trials, then a trophy class, then the money's where they earn their points and do that for their eliminations and call it a weekend.
All right. Good deal. So how many qualifiers for the top alcohol, top eliminator, and unlimited ATV then on Saturday?
Oh, I'm sorry. They do get 2.
Oh,
So
they
they'll
get 2
have
more
4
on Saturday.
total.
Okay. So 4
Yep.
sessions for them total for the weekend. If
Yes.
somebody's out there and you're thinking, hey, can't make it for Friday, you could still make it on Saturday, get 2 hits at the track, and still be into those fields.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
So let's talk because, Texas, Oklahoma area, that kind of area, not as familiar for me with a lot of the guys, and Billy, feel free to chime in here. Give us some names to watch. We'll start with that unlimited ATV class. Who's a name we should keep an eye on there?
Unlimited ATV, not for sure who's going to be coming because you got Sand Wars the same weekend in Little Sahara. Then you got the PSDA race that starts Tuesday or Wednesday after our race. So not for sure who's actually entering it. Possibility you could have Nick Allen. John Pate is trying to get his Busa quad going. Tommy Springer has entered it several times. We could see him run it. Possibly Craig McNeil. Those are the 3 that I could see possibly entering it. Gavin Briggs did enter at Heartland and won it. I believe Gavin's going to maybe both of those races, going to Sand Wars and then possibly to PSDA. So not for sure if they're coming to our race.
I was gonna say I don't know how many guys who don't run no bar would be at Atoka to get ready for Gilbert, but you never know. Maybe the Lambs will show up and throw their single cylinder they're building into the ring. I don't know.
I heard Lambs are going to the other 2 races.
They are. I remember that now. He told me that when he came up.
And then
here,
I heard the Hidmans are going to Sand Wars. So
yep.
Unfortunately, there may not be many in unlimited ATV.
Sure.
But we're still going to offer it.
Yeah. Well, then, hey, you know what? You never know till the class gets there. So hard to tell. All right.
If I had
let's
time,
move on
I'd
to
bring the mini bike and run it. But I just don't have time this weekend.
That between round prep is going to kill you, Billy.
It would.
All right. So let's move on. Top eliminator. Who are our usual suspects, so to speak, there?
Definitely the Schultz team. Pruitt Schultz, who this one at Indiana, Brookville. He's planning to come. John Pate, which is from now Atoka. I believe he's won possibly 3 in a row at the Fall Fest race.
Oh.
I think possibly 2 or 3 Kansas City guys. Terry Glasscock won many races at Thunder Valley, Mid-America champion, and also Russ Bailey. I've heard his name being mentioned. Hunter Shelton's name has also been thrown out. I've heard a yes and a no, so he's a maybe. Also from Texas, you got John Acker coming. Pat Ross is a maybe. Randy Kimbley from Oklahoma.
You can never doubt Randy when he's driving Blue Dog. He's always Always on it when he's got a chip on his shoulder for sure.
Yes. And I believe John Pate said they're trying to get 2 cars ready. So Christy may be in it.
Oh, Christy's pretty good at the light. If she can handle the horsepower, she'd be a killer in the class for sure.
Yes.
All right.
So I think possibly 8 is what I'm kind of hearing.
That'd be a really good field. What about what's it looking like in top alcohol?
If anybody runs it, it'll probably be Randy.
Be Randy, yeah.
Gotcha.
Unless
He'll bring
he
the
can
big
talk
car
the
out and try to
Schultz
break
into
the track
running him
record.
after the final or something.
Yeah, Randy would probably try to break the track record too if he brings a big car out. I believe y'all gonna have decent weather conditions, I think, aren't you, Derek?
Yes, it's showing 90 both days, low in the like 58 for the low.
Wow.
There's
That's a
no
big
rain
swing.
in the forecast.
Well, that moisture coming up at night will help for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Wow. Interesting. All right. Well, it sounds really good. Who are some of our points leaders heading into this weekend then?
Points leaders. I guess we can start with Pro 1 cars. That's as far as our bracket races, that's our kind of our big class for cars. It's our main class, our biggest entry also. You got JT Hosting, who's leading the points. He's got 155. He was last year's champion. And there is 5 eligible for this championship going into this last race. Brad Civils is 10 back. He's from Harper, Texas. And then another Texan with John Acker, who will probably be doing double duty with the top eliminator car and the Pro 1 car. Jimmy Fletcher, who just recently moved from Texas to Oklahoma, 25 back, pretty much in a must-win situation for him. And Daniel Baker from Bonham, Team 34, he's 30 back, and he's a must-win situation. Going to need some help and a win if he wants a shot at the championship. So 5 good cars in that class could win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
With JT leading.
Okay.
JT's a killer. John Acker's always a killer in that.
Yes.
And big shout out to Pooch. I just like saying Pooch. That's Jimmy Fletcher's nickname for those who don't know that. You got a great, who are the other 2 again? Daniel Baker and
Brad Civils.
Yeah, those are every single one of those. Yeah,
hopefully the
comes down to those 5 is crazy.
car won't distract Acker.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good enough. It shouldn't, but you never know doing double duty.
Those Texas guys usually keep their cars running pretty good, so little maintenance is usually what you see from them. So
yep.
Yeah. All right, what's our next class?
Yeah.
Let's go to Pro 2 car and finish out the car classes. You got Luke Heisey. As far as I know, this is his first full season for sure with us, and I think it's his first full season anywhere. I believe he is 16 years old.
I was gonna say, ain't he a child just out there running the Pro 2 cars class?
Do what now?
I said, isn't he a child just running the Pro 2 cars class? But any teenager is a child to me still. So
yeah. I thought he was closer to 18, 19, but I got informed he was 16.
Oh, okay. He's got that green buggy that's like welded to like a truck frame, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It's Isaac. If you ever seen this,
I've seen it. It looks like a single piece of square tubing with a bunch of stuff welded to it. So yes, I am aware of what it is now that you say that.
Definitely not apple tree made. I'll tell you that right now.
But it might be made by David Anderson.
Yeah. That's funny.
Hey, shout out to David Anderson though. Hey, for seriously, the OG Pro ATV guy. But anyway, back to our Atoka discussion here.
So Luke's leading the points. He's got 155. He just came off a win in September. He ran Jessica Powell in the final. Whoever won that round would have taken the points lead because Audra was not there. So Jessica's 10 points back, and Audra, who missed September, the two-time defending champion, 15 back. Those are the only 3 points eligible heading into Fall Fest.
Nice. Could come down to whichever one of them goes the furthest, really.
Yes.
For sure. And it always seems like every time we talk about a bracket race at a sand drag event, it's like you could always talk about the variety of vehicles you see in that class. And Pro 2 cars at Atoka has quite the variety you would see. Anywhere from the junior dragsters powered by power sports engines to the buggy truck frame Frankenstein creations you would see, or even just like full body vehicles, side by sides, drags, V8 powered dragsters and stuff like that. Volkswagen buggies even. And that is one class that you can go watch and you'd be like, wow, this is quite a big variety with the numbers that are in this class. It's actually pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that is cool. So, all right. So I'm assuming if we're done with cars, we're moving over to an ATV class.
Yep. Pro 1 quads. That is 5 flat and quicker. Pro tree this year. Bryce Williams, the old Keith A. Hart quad that's been famous. He is leading the points. He's led it all year. He has 130 points. Right behind him is Dylan Civils from Harper, Texas. Dylan is 20 back, and Dylan has missed 2 races. So he's gave up 20 points just by not being there.
Wow.
I've always known Dylan as a killer on that Banshee bike. So the fact that he's missed 2 races is only 20 points back. That's pretty crazy.
Yes. And I hear that he's getting a Pro 1 car, so I don't know if they're debuting it this weekend or saving it for November or next year, but I hear he's got a Pro 1 car in the works.
Well, that's good for the Pro 1 cars for sure. Well, it could be bad. I don't know. Dylan's pretty much a killer on the bike. Let's see if it translates to the car. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Who knows? He may be doing double duty. So, Greg White is also 20 points back. That's one that could go to Sand Wars, or he could come here because he's got a shot at 2 championships. So, I have not personally talked to Greg. So, I guess we'll find out Friday where he goes.
You could be in luck. He's got that 4-stroke bike, right?
Yes.
That's the new no bar bike he built. See, they run single cylinder class on Friday at Sand Wars. So he could show up on Saturday and try to win a points championship, maybe. Who knows?
Oh,
okay,
one of those scenarios.
Yep. Hopefully he comes and can keep this interesting. And then Randy is still in contention. Randy Kimbley, 25 back. He's in a must-win situation. He's 25 back, but you don't ever count out Randy.
Whenever you say he's in a must-win situation, it just feels like that it's meant to happen for Randy.
It's a challenge,
and he'll accept that challenge too. That's the thing.
He will. He definitely will. Next we have Pro 2 quads. This is the class that's got 6 still alive for the championship. The 3 youngsters versus the 3 veterans. 3 of them under the age of 15. And then the other ones that's been doing it for quite a while. I'll just put it that way. Cameron Pate took the big win at September to take the points lead. I believe he was 5th going into the September race. He has 110 points. Axel Smithhart is 10 back. And then Jace Cassins is 15 back. Roy Cooper is also 15 back. Greg White, again, is 25 back. And Stephanie Smithhart is 25 back. And Axel and Stephanie are mother and son. So that's kind of interesting for that class as well, that you got both of those eligible for the points. Greg and Stephanie are also in must-win situations.
Still, that's pretty good having 6 bikes alive with a mathematical shot going into last weekend. That's more impressive to me.
Yes, absolutely. and all of them seems like they can win at any time. So
Sure.
it'll be very interesting for that class.
Yeah, good parity in the class.
Yep.
Youngsters versus veterans. Let's see it.
The next one would be Pro 3 quads. This is the only class that's not really very interesting. Lexi, this basically needs to show up. She's got 160 points. She's 30 ahead of Gage.
Oh, man.
So she shows up, enters. She's pretty much won it. For him, he needs 17 or more entries to make it a 5-round race. She would have to lose first round. He would have to win it to tie for a runoff.
What was her
Wow.
name? Who's in the lead right now? What's her name?
Lexi Howick.
Lexi
Alexis.
Howick?
Houck.
Howick. Lexi
Yep.
Howick. Okay, well, congratulations on your points championship, Lexi. That's impressive stuff.
Yeah, right. Wow. Yeah, that'll come out on a later show, but hey, it's looking pretty favorable at this point in time.
She's won 4 of the 7 races so far, and she's only attended 6. So she's had and she's scored more points than anybody so far. So she's had a really good year.
Yeah, no doubt.
So. I would say so. Wow. She's killing it.
Impressive.
She was also the one that I said that started coming with her friend in a previous episode and decided to start racing.
She's probably like, this is kind of easy.
Takes home a points championship first year racer, ain't she?
Right.
You said? That's crazy.
2021 was her first year. She ran half the year, won it in 22. And then last year was kind of an off year. Looks like she's going to win it again.
Well, there you go. Every other year is an off year, and every other year she wins it. So next year she's going to have an off year, and then the next year she's going to win it. So even number of years are her thing.
Right.
Yep. Juniors would be the next one. Kason Schull has 130 points. There's 5 still eligible for this class. Forrest Williams, 15 points back. Forrest won in September to kind of keep this interesting. Emily Matthews missed September. She's 20 back. Bodie Smithart missed September. He's 30 back. And Carly Frazier is also 30 back. Bodie and Carly are in must-win situations to even have a shot at it.
Sure.
So
we didn't need some help, probably.
Yes, most definitely. Forrest has kind of been on a roll. Seems like he's went to several finals since July. So the momentum may be on Forrest's side. So
sure,
we'll have to see. And then last class is the Pee Wees. Dalton Thomas, Team 34, leads it with 120. Blake Hall, 5 back. Charlie Hosteen, JT's daughter, is 10 back. Grant Rainey is 20 back, and Swayze Stevens is also 20 back. So also 5 in the Pee Wee class, and that's been having close to 20 or 25 entries. So 5-round race, it's anybody's championship in that class.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome, man. Like I said, having that many, even in the hunt going into the last race is phenomenal and really shows good parity in the class, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's an adult or junior class of some kind.
Right. I've been doing the points for probably 10 to 12 years, maybe longer, and I've never noticed this many people being in points eligible going into the last race like this year.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Hey, good things happen in Atoka then. That's what that means.
It's very interesting.
Awesome. Billy Teeters, anything to add going into this?
Well, I'm sad I won't be there. My schedule just won't let me go anywhere this weekend. If I could have done Sand Wars and Atoka, I would have, but I am looking forward to being down there for the belt race, which is my plan. As always, I love going down there for the belt race, but yeah, we're looking forward to the updates. I know Derek will probably be live on either the Atoka page or something, and that way we can stay updated with what's going on there. with that. Mainly for the top eliminator class, I want to see if Pruitt Schultz can do it again. I want to see if he can do it against John Pate. The month of October has been really good to John Pate, as Derek said, 3 in a row and at this event. And I really think that the Wade Schultz and Pruitt Schultz are like a 1-2 punch with the tuner and driver combination. So we'll see what John can do with that. John Acker, you can never count him out. Randy Kimley, you can absolutely never count him out. And I'll say this, if Terry Glasscock gets that Whistler thing figured out, which I think he does have it figured out, but that thing gets too crazy sometimes to where like it goes on such a wild ride. I feel like something breaks on it or something, but I don't really know. But whenever he gets that thing to where it can compete well, everybody watch out, because everybody knows how dangerous Terry was. Well, I mean, Derek knows there was, 2019, I think? He went undefeated that season. Or 2019 season.
18 or 19, yeah.
Yeah, he went undefeated in the car and top eliminator and even won bracket race with it that year. So we all know how dangerous Terry can be. We've seen Russ win out west and at Thunder Valley before. So, but right now I think Pruitt Schultz is the man to beat. And like I said, in my opinion, he's probably the number 1 top eliminator racer in the country at this point. So, but Atoka is very difficult for those bigger cars to figure out. Unless you got the horsepower and tire to figure it out, then it becomes a little easier. But like I said, Pruitt Schultz is the man to beat. And there's a tough field in top eliminator at Atoka to do it this coming weekend. So actually tomorrow and Saturday. So
well, Pruitt went to the final at the Heartland as well. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think he lost on a hole shot. A small hole shot to Randy.
I think you're right. And that was a good race too. That was a good race.
Yeah.
Randy, but like Randy's on one sometimes. Whenever you don't really expect Randy to do something, that's when he
I think Randy
does
made his best run of the weekend in the final.
Yeah. I think I remember correctly. Yeah, I have to go back and look at that episode.
I don't think Pruitt had a bad line. I think Randy just had a little better line.
Right. Yes. But Randy does that to you, you know. Whenever you don't think Randy will come there and show up, he shows up. So, but yeah.
He ain't a 17-time champion because he's bad.
No kidding. That dude's definitely good at what he does. Pruitt's great at what he does, and top eliminator feels just going to be tough, great racing to see. I can't wait to see it from the live feeds that we'll get from Mr. Derek.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Derek Howard, last word then.
This is, I believe, our 33rd year at Atoka that we're celebrating for Fall Fest Nationals. Hopefully, if you can't be there, hopefully I can go live enough that you can enjoy it and watch it and try to keep up. As long as I'm not too busy, but if you are planning to come, I hope you enjoy it and hope everybody has a good, safe race. And we'll keep in touch afterwards and go over, get y'all the winners so we can post that or do another interview after the race.
Absolutely. All right, man. So there it is. Atoka Motorsports Park, the Atoka Fall Fest, coming up this weekend, October 11 and 12.
Hey, folks. This episode of Paddle Talk is brought to you by RacingInTheDirt.com. Racing in the Dirt has parts, equipment, and apparel for all your off-road competition needs. Racing in the Dirt has just one mission, and that's to help all of their customers compete at their very best. With over 30 years of motorsports competition experience, they know what it takes to maintain that competitive edge, and they are equipped to keep you there. On-site welding and fabrication, incredible selection of parts, and experience and helpful staff as well. If you go to their website, RacingInTheDirt.com, you can shop for parts and custom-built chassis as well. They sell quality brands such as Interco, Molinari, Reel, SCS gearboxes, Yukon gear and axle, RJS racing equipment, Moser Engineering, Simpson, Stroud, Willwood, MSD Ignition, AFCO, FTI, Good Vibrations Motorsports, and King Off-Road Racing Shocks. You can look at their axles and parts, where Racing in the Dirt offers all of the Go Fast parts for any axle setup. Have you checked out their new Dana 30 Fab housing? Racing in the Dirt Pro D30 housing starting at $590. They're Racing in the Dirt tires, the DOT boggers, standard cut boggers, magnum cut boggers, platinum cut boggers, DOT TSL swampers, the cut swampers, and they even cut your tires on site. Once again, over 30 years of experience doing this stuff, so you know you're getting good quality stuff from Racing in the Dirt. Also, Real Wheel dealers. They have a bunch of awesome real wheels from Real Racing Wheels. And they're Racing in the Dirt built chassis, whether you're looking for a full build, turnkey, ready to race, or simply a cage in your existing ride, or maybe a chassis that will be in the foundation of your newest race vehicle. Racing in the Dirt offers it all. You can also contact them about a consultation today. You can search for their products on their website. They have wheel adapters, hub kits, brake hat kits, brake and hub components, suspension parts, air filters, Racing in the Dirt knuckles, axles and parts, Racing in the Dirt chain drives and parts, limiter straps, parachute setups, side-by-side and UTV parts. So you can get in touch with them at 920-693-2000. Once again, that's 920-693-2000. And you can even email them at Scott, that's SCOTT, Scott at racinginthedirt.com. Once again, you can get a hold of them by calling them at 920-693-2000. 920-693-2000. You can also email them at Scott, SCOTT, at racinginthedirt.com. And then they are also open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And don't forget to check out their website, racinginthedirt.com. That is racinginthedirt.com. And don't forget the UPS Daily.
And we are talking all things PSDA with the Cajun Nationals coming up. Biggest PSD race of the year? Possibly, maybe. We'll know. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I am joined by the legend himself, Jeff Guillot, and also, well, legend in his own mind, K-Dub. No. All right. And possibly Ricky Thorpe if he could figure out how to get out of here. But we'll go to that later. So, all right. Guys, it's great to have you. I appreciate the width and breadth of knowledge on all things ATV you guys bring to the table. That is not my forte, but I am learning as I go. So really appreciate you guys having on. K-Dub, what do you got to lead in tonight?
Oh, I guess we're just talking about Gilbert. We got Jeff here. Pretty excited about this. It's the biggest race of the year. This is the first time I'm going to be back since 2019. I can't believe it's been that long. But I have a stock frame ready to get going, and I'm pretty pumped. I know the track has a bunch of changes from the last time I've been there. So that's pretty much what I have going on right now.
And we're going to talk about that. Now, were you not back since, would you say, 2017 of your own doing, or did you have to take a time out like an adult?
2019, but yeah, I pretty much took an adult time out. I bought a house, started putting the money in the house versus the bike, but I've been slowly trying to get back to where I was, and I finally have a bike back together with the urging of Nick Bennett, and then Nick enlisted Jeff to start talking shit to me. So the bike's finally back together, and I'm ready to start racing. I got a few motors, a few chassis combos, so I should be able to hit the ground running in 2025. I'm going to show up, just have fun, a little baby motor in 2024, run some 4.2 index, but yeah, can't wait to be back.
You know, I will say, this will wait for another episode, but Nick Bennett seems to be not a good influence on multiple people when it comes to things, and we'll just leave it at that for right now. But since he doesn't want to be on here, this is what he gets. All right, Jeff, great to have you on. Thanks for coming on with us tonight, and let's talk. So, Cajun Nationals at your place. What are we looking for? What's going to start happening? You were talking already Saturday. You've got stuff to do a week prior to the race already.
Yeah, we've actually, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but we've been mowing that place once a week. Me and Brad and Junior, some guys that work with us. But we've been mowing once a week. We started mowing in March and we hadn't missed a lick. We did cut some hay on the back part, but after they got the hay cut the first time, we've been keeping it mowed and trying that once a week to keep the grass down, because if you don't cut it, y'all know you go to some tracks sometimes and the grass is a foot deep. You drop a bolt and you can't find it. So we try to keep everything mowed.
Yes, haven't had that happen. You're 100% right. Nothing worse than rolling in. You put down your door and you don't know if you need to flip out the extension or not because there's enough grass. You may not need it at the end of the day.
Well, the most place we go to is pretty nice, but it's for us just to run this race once a year. It's spent a lot of money on mowing grass all year. And K-Dub, anytime you get ready to come down, you want to spend some time on the lawnmower, just come on down.
I'll let you know. It definitely shows your track's like one of the nicest facilities in the country, and you can tell. And it's like one race a year, but you can tell it's a bunch of quality equipment. It's really nice.
We've done a few changes this year. When we built the tower back in probably 2000, I don't know, 2007 or 8, something like that, when the barn guys helped me build it. We had some of the screws was pulling out of the tin, so we had to pull the tin off and replace some plywood and put some different boards on it. And the wife's been on me. When we built it, we really was thinking about registration and the tower upstairs. Wasn't thinking about the girls in the bottom of the tower couldn't see out to see the races. So while we had all the tin off, went ahead and put a big laminated window in on the bottom where they can see the track now. Went ahead and put new laminated glass in the tinted, up in the top, so it won't get so hot for the guys upstairs. We've done a little bit more. Really, the track's going to be the same. We got the track broke up. I guess a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So we're going to have to start putting water on it Thursday because we hadn't had any rain since the hurricane come through. That's been a few weeks ago.
Man, that is a bunch. So, all right. So, and Jeff, you said Sunday night you're going to start kind of marking off some parking spots, or you're going to have some marked off by Sunday night, correct?
Yeah, we'll get everything mowed Saturday and go ahead. Usually get up Sunday morning and go ahead and drive a bunch of stakes. I think we got right at 80 spots reserved this year, really close to what it was last year, maybe a couple more. But we'll have all the stakes up with everybody's name on them. So if they start coming in Sunday evening, say 3, 4 o'clock, if they start coming in, then they'll better go park. So we'll have all our stakes up.
Sweet. All right, so parking's going to start already almost a week before. K-Dub, what is your expected time of arrival, and what happens after that?
Should be there right around Sunday, right around 2 or 3, and then me and Sean Roth, we're going to meet up and then get the camper situations all situated, and from there just hang out till Tuesday, maybe tinker with my bike. This is a bunch of go to the store, get some sandwich supplies. Sandwich supplies are the most important things. Have the food ready, get the beer taken care of, and then just wait till Tuesday when the racing starts.
Okay, and Jeff, so what Tuesday, what can guys look forward to on Tuesday then?
Okay, we've got everything done. We're going to Tuesday and Wednesday before test and tune. I've got it wrote here in front of me on my phone. So we are going to do bike inspection again, like we've been doing, or like we did last year. And I know that it's not a real big deal. I mean, just roll through, make sure you got brakes, just make sure everything looks safe. And the main reason we're doing this is we're setting up something. Don't really want to say exactly how we're doing it right now, but we usually put some kind of armband or something on the bike once we inspect them. That way we're trying to get it to where K-Dub shows up, he gets his bike inspected, gets his test and tune pass set up from the wife and the tower, and then we can start running it at noon. But what we're doing is we'll have a bunch of guys make 2 or 3 passes, throw their card away and go get them another one. So that's the reason the bike inspection come in last year. We used to didn't put anything on the bike. I know in Michigan they've been putting stickers on the bike for years for past inspection. So that's the main reason we're doing that, is to keep K-Dub from running one bike with 3 test and tune cards. We're gonna plan on K-Dub.
And to keep me from using my my bike brake caliber.
Yeah, got to make sure you don't have his 10-speed bicycle brakes on there. We are gonna we're doing something a little different this year, and I'm saying test and tune. So let me back up, rephrase this. We're calling it qualifying this year, instead of test and tune. So, and the reason we're doing that is because we had so many bikes last year. We had some discussions on Thursday, Wednesday night and Thursday morning. I told everybody, I said, there's no way that we can run qualifying that morning. And then we had so many bikes, I said, there's no way we're going to get done. So we was running, it took us 5.5 hours to qualify everybody. So it put us 5.5 hours behind. Now, we're going to start out qualifying just like we did last year, and I think we're going to be okay. And then I'll get back on our schedule in a second. I'll explain this. I asked him about what we've changed. So I've got another tractor, another do-all, and another roller. So we're going to have 2 complete setups. So when 3 or 4 different bikes go down the track, say 3 or 4 passes, we'll let both tractors go down, one down each lane, and they'll park at the end of the track. And then instead of coming back, they'll just park at the end. Then we'll run another 3 or 4 passes, and then they'll come back. So watching at James's, and I've done a little bit at my place, so it's taken about 5 minutes and 5.5 minutes, 5 minutes, 45 seconds to make 4 passes down the track with 4 sets of bikes. And the tractors stand on the track just as long as the 4 passes. So when you look at it in like that if you run 12 hours, that means you're only running 6 hours for bikes, and you're running pretty much 6 hours on the tractor if you're not careful. Sometimes guys want it graded a little bit more, some's not as bad, but I think running 2 tractors, as long as we don't have any trouble, any bearings or anything go out, I think it's just going to speed up. It should speed up at least 2.5, 3 hours, each day. It'll take that, less time. So I think that's going to be a big deal for this year. So if y'all want to know about, so we're going to start at noon qualifying on Tuesday and Wednesday. And to race Thursday, you got to sign up Wednesday. To race Friday, you got to sign up Thursday. To race Saturday, you got to sign up Friday. And I'm sitting here looking. They hadn't updated my list, but let me ask the boss. What time did you say you was going to open up registration? 3 to 7 every day? I think it's 3 to 7 every day. So Wednesday we'll open up registration for Thursday from 3 to 7, and that way Kim can go ahead and start getting bike numbers in for the next day. That takes a long time to get everybody in.
Hey, I got a question, Jeff.
Yeah.
So when you're doing qualifying Tuesday and Wednesday, is it pretty much your bike? When your bike makes a pass, you keep your slip and turn it in, or is it going to be calling classes?
So you'll get a test and tune card for Tuesday,
Okay. Yep.
and then after Tuesday, then you'll get another one for Wednesday. But now, what you'll want to do is you'll want to keep your inspection card. Okay, we'll give you an inspection card, so you'll want to keep that to be able to go back up there and get your Wednesday test and tune, or qualifying. I'm sorry. And then you'll have for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they may ask you for it again.
Okay.
But
I
what
mean,
we're
to
going,
reiterate, Jeff, like how many bikes? It's just insane the amount of bikes there, and then people will try to cheat game the system, and then, like you said, they'll try to. Like I heard stories about they took the punch card system and they were taking the little punch holes and then popping them in, and then just trying to see if they catch them or not.
oh, we had some that was splitting the testing, the little test and tune card. They was splitting it with a knife or razor blade, picking up one of the little green or blue or orange holes that was on the ground and sliding it back in there and trying to put it up and down. So,
I've been there, like I've been there where we know it's gonna rain in a couple hours, and everyone gets in 4.0 index, even though they run 3.3s, 4.2s, just so they can get test hits, and then the class will be just clogged because everyone's trying to get past it. So you got to regulate that, or else people will get a little out of control.
we're getting a little smarter every year. You can't. It's hard. That there's always going to be somebody to figure out something.
Try to
But
game.
we've got something a little bit different this year that's going to make it a little harder for them to do that. So I feel pretty good about that. But yeah, it's and I mean, if we've got 200 bikes again, and I hope we do, if we got a good crowd, and it looks like, but you don't never know exactly how many bikes you're going to have. We know how many trailers we got, but K-Dub, how many bikes is in each trailer? You know what I'm saying? We don't know.
Definitely. You can have anywhere from 2 to like 6. I mean, we went to California with 8 bikes loaded in the trailer before.
And I heard some of the Puerto Ricans were having a little bit of trouble getting their bikes. They're having a little bit of trouble, something about getting their bikes back, maybe back to Puerto Rico, something.
I wonder how it's going to affect them. Are there bikes at your track right now with the hurricane? Is that going to be a problem?
You know, I think the ones from Florida probably if they're coming, they're probably, you know, go ahead and start moving on out now. The stuff coming from, I don't really think. I think what Puerto Ricans are coming is probably already got their bikes here, is what I would think.
Okay, yeah, they might. I just don't really know, honestly. But they possibly do, yeah.
I would think that they do.
I would agree with that. I would think anybody that's coming from offshore probably already has something on the mainland, and maybe they're trying to move it up through Florida into Georgia at this point, you know. And I see a lot of tracks, friends of ours at, you know, South Georgia Motorsports Park, opening up their facility again, Gainesville, you know, and stuff for people to park at and that sort of thing. So I would think you're probably right. You know, if it's here, they're trying to move it in that direction just to keep it out of the path of the hurricane by that point. But sorry to interject. Please continue.
Yeah. So we're going to start. We'll probably do a little quick drivers meeting 11:30 Tuesday and Wednesday. Start at noon and run to 9. Our bike inspection is going. We're going to go from 10 to like 12:30 on our bike inspection Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, first day of racing, and this is something I'm going to say again. If you're going to run on Thursday, we need to sign up on Wednesday. That's kind of a mandatory deal that we're trying to do, because if we don't, we can't start on time.
Sure.
So we're going to, this year, we're going to have our drivers meeting at 10:30, and instead of starting at noon, we're going to start at 11 this year.
Okay.
An hour earlier, and then we'll run till midnight. If we don't get through, we'll run till midnight, and then wherever we're at, we'll stop at midnight and we'll start over the next morning. So last year we were supposed to start a racing at noon. Well, we'd start at like 10 and try to finish up our classes.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to do Thursday and Friday. We'll stop at midnight every night. And like I say, we'll do our drivers meeting at 10:30, start at 11. And then Saturday, no matter what we've got left, we'll run. If last year I think we got through a little after midnight. But you know, if it takes to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 or 6, whatever, you know, we'll run. Now our weather's looking good right now.
It's not gonna
The reason I like the third week of October is, like the last few days, it's been 90. It's been warm.
Holy crap.
The third week of October has really been hitting us good every year that we've done it. And go back to Isaac, what we were talking about deer hunting, so I kind of keep up with the cold temperatures. But like, you know, right now, next week, we're looking at 74, 71, 73, 78, and 80. So it'll be 80 on Saturday is what they're calling. But at night. So Tuesday night is 48, and then 46, 47, 50, and 53. So the night temperatures are going to be really good for the bikes.
Oh, that'll be perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
I can't ask for anything better than that.
KW, you better bring some long johns with you.
Oh, I'm gonna be ready. I got my sweatshirts loaded up, and to make sure my sleeping bag's ready. I'll be good. But I'm from Michigan. I'm used to the cold.
Yeah, so I think our weather is going to be good, and not hot, not calling for any rain, so that's a good thing.
Yep, knocking on wood still.
Rain and sand or dirt drags just don't go together real good.
No.
So I know you was asking about what we're going to do. So Thursday, let's see, I'm trying to look on the phone. We always advertise bracket race if time allows, and it's on there before index, but the last 3 years we have not been able to run the bracket at all. Hadn't even
There's no chance to be able to do it because there's just too many bikes will enter trying to make passes. It'll take all day. So.
It's one of them deals you got to say, do we race index or do we race bracket? So, so we're going to start off with our index. Now, this is not the order that we're running, but we've got 319 and down.
The best class at the PSDA right there.
Yep, we got a 3, and that's going to be a big class. 320 and 339 is going to be a big class. The 340, 359. 360 to 379, 380 to 399, 40 to 419, and then the slowest to be 420 to 439. And
my class right there.
Hey, but I'm gonna tell you what you talking about. That we talking about that's the slowest class, but
the biggest class.
You realize what the bikes has done in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
a bike running 420s 10 years ago was a pretty fast bike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and it's not slow. I'm just saying that's was really a pretty fast bike, but everything has just done moved up so much.
Oh yeah,
in the last couple years.
I always like the index racing because you got the 319 and faster by fastest class. You got all the triples, all the Z1s now. Everyone's running each other, and that's always the best class because it's 8, 12, 16 bikes deep that are all running at least 320 or faster. And then the 38, the 40, that's always the biggest class. Is you got all the bike owners on their 10 Cubs or on their snowmobile bikes, and then you'll have 20 bike fields. You make some good money if you win that. It's the index racing is one of my favorite days at the track, I believe. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, I like the index racing. So Friday is we're gonna move on to our limited day. And drivers meeting still at 10:30. He's gonna start racing at 11. And I mean, pretty much, I don't think anything has changed on our limited. Nothing has changed. Starts with the single cylinder, and we've got our same single cylinder class, the same twin, same triple class, CVT, and the 4-cylinder. So everything's still the same on Friday. Let's see. I'm trying to look and see what day we ran. Okay, so the full plastic class is just like last year, so it's still on Friday.
Okay.
It's still on Friday, and then after we do the full plastic, then we're going to go into our limited heads up. And Saturday, we're going to do our youth class, start at the same time, drivers meeting same time. We do our youth class first, and then we're going to have the 450, 475 weight class is still on Saturday.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken here, I got to look, but the no bar class is here somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's always on Saturday, or at least whenever.
It's here on Saturday.
Yep.
My phone's not big enough, but then everything else is the same. Now, I'm Jeremy Hannon and Race Much More, and a few other guys are supposed to be bringing some of the side-by-sides, but
nice.
I'm not for sure if Jeremy and him's going to come. I was texting him earlier today. They're trying to get some stuff together still, and they got a snowmobile race this weekend, but I've been hitting him pretty hard, kind of like K-Dub getting his bike ready.
Yeah,
I've been hitting Jeremy pretty hard. I'm like, dude, you've been talking about this for a year. Get your crap in the trailer and come on.
Yeah, no kidding.
But no, I honestly though, that I think the thing that's going to help us, Isaac, on this deal, Billy, it's going to help us a lot is bringing that other tractor in. Now, as long as we don't have a bear and go out or something, but as long as we can keep both of them running, it'll help us out a whole bunch by the end of the day.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah, I would
amazing
agree.
just to be able to have them go great, and then keep running.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen that before actually at Dome, probably 15 years ago already. They tried it one weekend and it was amazing. I mean, you don't think about it, but even picking up a minute and a half per grade, how that can snowball, and by the end of the night, how much time you've actually saved. So that's awesome. And I would say, Jeff, there's a lot of places that could follow your lead as far as I would fair to bet right now. There's a fair amount of places that have no idea how long their grading takes. And you've got it down to a 15-second window, and that's really impressive. Shows attention to detail. I love it. I love that you're that invested in it and understand the big picture. So shout out there.
Well, it goes back. We've discussed this before. With us doing dirt excavation and farming too, that's the only reason. That is the only reason that, we've got the opportunity to have the equipment. You know what I'm saying? It's just, if I didn't farm or do construction work, there's no way I could have that many tractors sitting at the racetrack. It just don't work.
Sure.
We're going to we'll put over 70 hours on each one of those tractors this year because they don't never cut them off. It's no sense in it because 5 minutes you got to crank it right back up.
Yeah.
So they'll never cut the tractors off, and we'll run 70. We'll put 70 hours. So and then we're going to start putting water out Thursday and disking the water in and running the do all. We'll have to run the tillers sometime after we get enough moisture in to get all the little clods out. It's just so much time even before the race trying to get ready.
I've said for a long time, every track out there needs a guy, doesn't have to be the owner necessarily, but needs a guy that they trust that knows how to work dirt to handle their track prep. Because the guys that know what they're doing, like you, some of the other guys out there, you end up with great tracks that people want to run on, makes big events and stuff like that. And I tell you what, the guys that don't, the track prep is not as good, and guys just don't want to come and run on junk. I mean, that's what it boils down to. So, no, that's great perspective, Jeff. I love it, man. All right, so it sounds like it's going to be good. We're expecting 200 plus bikes. I mean, that is a great weekend. And you guys are wrapped up sometime late Saturday night, very early Sunday morning. And you take a deep breath and start thinking about what can we do better next year.
That's pretty much where it goes. And, it don't matter. It don't matter where I go. I'm always looking at what somebody else is doing. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, I know I do dirt excavation and farm, but look, I can still learn from somebody. I try, and that's all we do. I think any track owner, their goal is to make their track as good as they can. If they love the racers, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, absolutely. So if you handle the track prep side of it, I have no doubt in my mind, Kim's already got the registration and all that side of it handled. We know who's the boss over there, so it's all good. Shout out to Kim. We know who takes care of business there.
Well, it's I'm gonna say this, and we don't give enough credit. Well, when we got our girls at the gate that come through, that's probably one of the most important jobs is to better get that armband money when they come in, because that's what pays the fuel bill, that's what pays the electricity bill, that's what pays the people that's there working. And then we got our girls in the tower, my wife and my daughter, and there's usually a couple more ladies in there, and then we got Frank from Portertree. He's gonna fly in, and I call him Mr. MacGyver. I like to have him here because if Kyle's gonna come all the way from Michigan after being out since 2019, we don't want anything to go wrong. We want him to be able to get down the track.
Oh yeah, Frank's gonna have it covered too.
Yeah, and I got two of my guys that Brad and Bo that run the and Junior and Bo's gonna run the do all. Brad takes care of the water, and I usually jump on the disc tractor. But it literally takes about 12 of us to make this week happen.
Mm-hmm. And then don't forget the guy at the starting line. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name.
James will how'd I say it? He will tune your butt up if you get in line. But he
would definitely shoot me out a few times.
Well, James is our medic, and Kim's a nurse, and we got a couple more nurses, and Joseph Evans, he's a fireman, so he's a medic. So we've got some people here. We don't get the ambulance. We used to get the ambulance, and the ambulance was like $25 an hour. I think it's like $125 an hour now.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe it.
So we've got a bag and got a backboard, and literally I got some good people. I don't know if I'd have all these people if I race once a month, but doing it once a year, I think everybody kind of looks forward to it and enjoys it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean it don't seem like it's race time again. That's what we was talking about earlier today. I mean, we've been mowing the place all year long. I spent a lot of time over all year, but we're actually, this has nothing to do with the sand drags, but we're looking at adding an oval mud track to the left behind the starting line this year for some. We're going to do side by sides, bikes, and then trucks. Truck mud racing's always been really big in the South.
Oh, I'm sure you can get a good crowd doing that. I'm sure all the locals there. That'd be awesome.
We do that maybe 3 times a year. I mean, that's like a Saturday, and it's not like test and tune the day before. It's one Saturday, to do that 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And just show up and let her eat, man.
Look, they got some trucks run 80 mile an hour in the mud down the back stretch. It's hitting holes. It's crazy.
Hey Jeff, how's Wild Thing doing?
Warm and cozy in the shop.
You gonna be ready?
Oh yeah, maybe.
Am I gonna be able to turn the nitro on, make it sound different?
Yeah, Mark's gonna come in. We've still got to bleed the clutch. We never did get the air out of the system last year, and I've been picking at Mark. He's done got big into shooting skeets and with his guns, and so he's not coming to the races very often. So I think he gives me this 1 week a year now.
Well, you gotta take what you can get, I guess.
I've been trying to get him to go back out to Dome Valley. It's a few places that I like running the bike that I feel safe at, for shutdown. And I talked to him yesterday. I said, look, I know you can't go to Dome Valley this year, but we got to pick a track somewhere. I don't care where we go, somewhere through the year. We need to go run the bike more than once a year. Mm-hmm. But that's the reason we're building a Z1 is so we can. I like going fast, but the nitro bike is just expensive. It is very expensive.
Oh, I'm sure. Going over to Larry McBride's shop, I could imagine it's a pretty penny.
Somebody got to keep Larry running.
Oh man. Well, K-Dub, you're going to be on site all week, bringing us all kinds of good content. You've got some special new eyewear even as well that you're going to be bringing out. So looking forward to that. And what do you got in store for us?
I got the new Ray-Ban camera glasses. So I'm just gonna be out there. I'm gonna try to get some videos, try to get some interviews. I'm gonna be live a bunch. So yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be a fun time.
It is gonna be fantastic. It sounds great. So let's close this out. Jeff, what's one thing you want folks to know before they get there for this year?
Well, that's kind of a hard question. Come to have fun. Come to enjoy yourself. Just come to have fun. Come give K-Dub a hard time.
Oh, I'm sure we're gonna have fun.
But no, it's gonna be fun. We'll keep everybody moving, and our main objective is to keep everybody happy, do our best we can, and because I know that everybody pretty well expects us to be on point, and we're gonna do our best.
Fantastic, man. Well, I know it's going to be a great race. It sounds like it is going to be absolutely off the hook. Can't wait to see all the coverage, K-Dub and everybody else involved. So it is going to be excellent. K-Dub, anything you want to add for a last word?
Last word. Let me think about that. So my last word is yeah, if you got a bike, show up to Gilbert. I mean, it's going to be a fun time. You get to see all the 425, 525, you get all the Banshee class racing. I mean, I just can't wait to see like Blood Money, the 4-cylinder Banshee, Charlie Smith ride. There's so many people I haven't seen in a long time. It sounds like I'm rambling, but I really am excited.
I think you make a really good point, though, and maybe that's lost on a lot of people. If you've got a bike, bring it, because there's a spot for you to fit in, guys. I mean, somehow, some way. And I cannot believe if he comes on here at the end here, he is in for it. Good gravy.
Ricky!
Oh, my word. All right, folks, I know you probably... And Ricky Thorpe has left the chat. Of course he has. All right. He's working on being replaced as the official ATV go-to guy. I think he's slipping down fast right here. So
and it sucks because he knows everybody and can talk for all day. He's a talker.
And somehow cannot do the podcast. Unbelievable.
Like 1A, 1B announcer, you and Ricky. Like announcing levels are great.
Yeah, what the heck, man? If he keeps acting like this, I'm going to have to come down there one of these years.
Try to take a spot?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I'm literally stalling here to see if he's going to make it in here, but...
He's muted right now. Hey, Jeff, did you ever get the Dome announcer to come out?
Did I who? What now?
Did you ever get the Dome announcer to come out? I remember you were talking about that a little bit.
You know, I forgot about that. Ricky's always there doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, Ricky does a great job.
Yeah, Ricky does a great job.
You sit there and talk shit to all of us on the microphone.
You know, Rick, that's one thing, just like what you just said. Ricky knows everybody. I know everybody's faces, but I am terrible with everybody's names.
Mm-hmm. I always got to play 20 questions and kind of figure out, like, how's your bike running? And try to get some vague questions in there to kind of, like, isolate what bike they have, where they're from, and then I can kind of make an educated guess at that point.
me and the wife's been married 32 years, and about, I don't know, the first 5, she'd say somebody come up and talk to me for 30, 40 minutes, and they'd leave. She said, why didn't you introduce me? I said, I can't remember the name. After 32 years now, if she comes up, I don't introduce her. Like, you just introduce yourself. Hey, look, there's Ricky.
It's a Ricky sighting.
Hey,
hey,
hey. Sorry, I'm getting ready for the race. I got a little sidetracked there. I'm last minute like usual.
Oh, is the bottom of your wheelie bar cleaned off? Is it ready to go?
Oh, Isaac, I don't even want to get into it. It's messy over here, but we'll be ready by Saturday afternoon when we leave.
Fantastic.
So,
Fantastic. All right, well, we were literally about wrapping up. So, anything you have to add there, sir, before we cut this segment off?
Well, better late than never. That's how I usually do it. But anything I want to add for Gilbert? Well, there's a few things. You guys were just talking about it. I can't wait to announce. It's always first of all, I want to right when I got on here, Kyle said something about me and Isaac are good. Well, here's the thing. I learned from Isaac. So there's levels to this game. Isaac is the man, and if I can ever go to an event and be half the announcer Isaac is, I think I'd do a decent job. And if there's one event I can get on the microphone each year, it's Mr. Jeff's race. It's 1,000 entries last year or throughout the week, right, Mr. Jeff?
Yep, it was a little over 1,000, Ricky. Well, you know, I need to ask the wife. I know there was one day of test and tune, we had 225 entries. And then, you know, so if you got 200, you just don't test and tune, so that'd be 225 bikes. And then if you got everybody, pretty much every bike there is running probably 2 classes. So, yeah, it's going to bump up pretty quick.
Um, a lot of new bikes. I'm bringing 2 brand new ones myself. I know Bennett Motorsports is bringing a new one. Mr. Jeff might know a thing or two about. Uh, we even got Isaac. We even got old K-Dub out of retirement. All right, he got his bike. He got his bike together, and I seen a video from Sean of him washing it the other day. So
you know the race is special when I wash it. So
you know, if
take pride in that.
you know, it's bad when K-Dub was the first one with a bike ready and he washed it. So
I got a 3-year head start though. So
no, but for me, I'm excited because my sister's coming back down. They got that brand new bike. Sean knocked it out of the park. My sister and Sean back, K-Dub back, the old band back together. You know, the old, it's like the old days. It's like 2013 all over again. I can't wait. And you know, it's always a spectacle going down there to Northeast Louisiana Sand Drags. So I always say if there was a World Series or a Super Bowl for us ATV Sand Drag racers, it happens in October, and we get to go down to Cajun country. So absolutely the race of the year for us, and there's nothing quite like the Cajun Nationals, and bikes coming from all over the country, brand new, several dipping into the 2-second range or getting close to it. Records getting broken. The Pro Sanddrag Association puts on a heck of a show. Mr. Jeff and his entire staff, everybody from the women in the tower that nonstop with registration to it's a spectacle. If there was a WrestleMania, or I don't know how else to put it, I'll put it to you this way. I haven't been to the track all year, and this is the one that I'm gonna pull into the gate, and we're gonna do something, because if there's one that you're gonna want to get to, this is the one. So I'm looking forward to it. We're pulling out Sunday. I know, I'm sure there's people leaving probably Friday, huh, Mr. Jeff?
Yeah, well, Mark and Pee Wee's going to beat everybody. They'll be here Friday. Nick's coming in Saturday. I got to have Dan's muscles. He usually pounds them stakes in the ground for me.
Well, you got to
Put him to work right off the bat.
Got to keep Dan on his toes, you know.
It's elite level jockey Dan Bennett running the V1 to 3 like 19s.
I don't. It'd be tough.
Pounder.
It'd be tough without Pee Wee, Mark, and Dan, and Nick and Mr. Bennett riding around, and the way they're toting stakes for us, and Ricky, my son, is going to be at work all week, so he's not going to make it.
What about Frankie? We got Frankie coming in like usual, or what?
Frankie, my baby, he going to be here. He's coming in Monday, so.
If Isaac, I don't know if you know this or not, but they got Frank, who I'm not sure. I think Frank might even be back working for Porter Tree. Is he not?
He went back for a little while, but Frank's doing a lot of. I think after he left Porter Tree, he's going to a lot of events. So I've talked to him a couple times, lately, that he may be in Texas. He may be. He's just scooting around, just helping tracks.
As a sand drag historian in your own right, Isaac, you would appreciate that there is a seasoned veteran from Porter Tree there every year to help things go as smooth as they possibly can. Frankie's probably the best insurance policy you can have, isn't he, Mr. Jeff? If anything happens throughout the week, a sensor here, something, so the ladies down at the bottom of the tower are hollering for him here and there throughout the week. Mr. Jeff might be hollering for him down on the track, and it's like I always say, if you haven't been down there yet, it's a complete spectacle. It's a show. I'm glad to see that Frankie's going to be back. It's always a pleasure being up there working with him, and we're not going to have the third piece of our band though, huh? Kyler's going to be working, so. Is it Frankie just going to run double duty, or are we gonna have someone else up there, or what do we got?
Nah, we're going to try to have somebody else up there helping him. Allie's at home for a few days, so she's probably going to be up there helping some. I've asked her to step up. She'll probably help some, and then Tim Jones, that's always done the their little restaurant
Mr. Tim, oh yeah.
concession stand. I'm sure he'll probably help me some if I can beg him enough, I guess.
Sweet.
I'm
It takes
sure.
a whole group. I mean, Jeff, you hit the nail on the head. You can't do it by yourself. Way too much to do, and very grateful for all the help you guys are getting. Sounds like you got it really covered. I mean, you need a large group, and like you said, being that it happens only once a year, people are usually a lot more susceptible to getting on board than if you were trying to race once a month.
Well, a lot of our folks, I mean, they just look forward to seeing all the racers. I mean, they done got used to seeing everybody. It's like, Ricky, I don't get to see Ricky much. K-Dub, don't get to see K-Dub much. I text him every once in a while. But, if we could get everybody that races, if everybody lived close, we'd have a big race once a month. But everybody just lives so far apart.
That's true, man. Well, it seems like, with a lot of stuff sand drag racing wise, it always seems like these big events kind of come together kind of at the end of everybody's year. Everybody's looking to put a cap on the year, and that sort of thing. And no different than the Cajun Nationals this year. So, all right, folks. So that is it. Our preview for the 2024 Cajun Nationals. This is what we've got. If you're not there and you're an ATV guy, you're going to wonder why you didn't show up.